Right, good morning everybody. Questions as usual are on the screen there for you, so you can pause them now if you'd like to have a go yourself, or you can have a go along with me. I don't mind either way, so I'll let you pause the video now if you'd like to have a look. If not, and you'd like to do them along with me, that's fine, and we'll get going. Okay, so the first one is 134 times 12. Don't know my 134 times table, so what I do is partition it. So I do 134 times 10, and then 134 times 2. Okay, so I've partitioned that 12 off. So 134 times 12 is 1,340, because you move everything one place value column to the left. 134 times 2, well, that's 268. 268, and then you're going to add them. So you've got 1,340, add 268, place value, place value column addition, 8, 6 and 4 is 10, carry the 1, 6, there you go, 1,608 is the answer for that one. Okay. Second one, 100 subtract 25 is the same as 60 add something. We've done a couple of these now. It's the same method every time. They're fairly straightforward. 100 subtract 75, 25 I already know is 75. It's one of those number bonds that you use an awful lot. So 60 add something is 75. Well, that's, again, shouldn't take much working out. It's 15, isn't it? Add the 10 to get to 70, and then add the 5 on to get to 75. So the answer for number 2 is 15. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. 9 subtract 1.9. 9 subtract 1.9. Again, you might have a different method for this one. That's absolutely fine. For me, I would partition. Would I partition? I don't know. It's two methods, I suppose. First method would be to partition the 1.9, do 9 subtract 1, and then do the answer subtract 0.9. So you'd have this, 9 subtract 1 equals 8. And then you do 8 subtract 0.9, which would be 7.1. Is that right? Yeah, 7.1, not 8.1. Or, just so I'm clear there, so 7.1 is the answer. Or what you could do is do 9 subtract 2, which equals 7. Okay, so instead of subtracting 1.9, you've subtracted 2. So you've added a tenth on to get your answer of 7. Sorry, yeah, you've added a tenth on to get to 7. So then you need to add another tenth onto your answer to get it back to what you originally should have done, if that makes any sense. So you should have done 1.9, subtracted 1.9. You actually subtracted 2. So you subtracted a tenth more than you should have done. Okay? If you owe me £19, but you pay me 20, then I should give you £1 back, shouldn't I, in change? So if you subtract 2, you've taken a tenth too many away to get to 7. So you add the tenth back onto your answer, and you get 7.1. Okay? Either method would work there. I think initially I would have done the partition. I would have taken the 1 and then taken the 0.9. But as long as you can spot, I suppose, that 1.9 is close to 2, you could have done that as well. Number 4, lovely and straightforward as well. 367 divided by 10. Well, everything moves one place value column to the right, which means that at the moment you've got 367.0 with the decimal point there. Okay, everything moves one place value column to the right. So the 7 will enter into the tenths column, the 6 into the units, and the 3 into the tens. So you've got 36.7. Okay. 3/5 of 40. I'm not going to draw any bar models or anything for this one. We've done that last week enough. I'm just going to stick to the maths this time. So for that one, you do divide by the bottom, and then times by the top. Okay, so 40 divided by 5 is 8, because 8 times 5 is 40. Yeah, so 40 divided by 5 is 8, so then you're going to do 8 times 3 equals 24. Yeah, let's check I've got that right. Okay, so the bar model method is useful for you to visualise what's going on and you to understand what you're doing. But once you're secure with the bar model and you're secure with the method, leave it behind because it's too slow. Okay. So what you're doing here is splitting 40 into 5 equal groups, and then you own 3 of those groups. So you split it into 5 equal groups by dividing by 5, and then you own 3 of the groups, so you multiply by 3. Okay, to see how many you've got in total. Number 6, don't know why I've just written 6. Number 6, M is 1,000. D is 500. Yeah. V is 5 and 1 is 1. So it's 1,507. Because the VII is 7, you've got 1,507 altogether. Whizzing through them today. Okay, let me just zoom in on this one. Bit of a funny question, this one. You won't have come across anything like this. It's a lot more straightforward than it probably comes across as. Dev has £15. He gave some money away. A is the amount of money. Write the expression as algebra. Okay, so all it wants you to do is 15. Does it want the no? 15 subtract A. He started with 15. He gave some money away. A is the amount of money he gave away. So 15 subtract his amount of money equals, and then obviously an answer. But we don't know what the answer is without knowing what A stands for. Okay, number 8. 125 divided by 4. Okay, bit of a trickier one, this one. Couple of methods of doing it, I suppose. For me, I'd be looking at partitioning. So I'd be doing 100 divided by 4, which I know off the top of my head is 25. And then you're left with doing 25 divided by 4. That's much trickier. Okay. However, I know what 25 divided by 2 is. So what I'm just going to do is halve 25 and halve it again. So 25 divided by 2 equals 12.5. Okay, and then I can halve that again, because 12.5 divided by 2 equals 6.25. Okay, so going back to the question, I have got all the working out here, I just need to put it all together again. So there, so I've just locked my screen, sorry. Just start a new recording. Okay, so you've got the answer for 100 there, you've got the answer for 25 divided by 4 there, so you just need to add them together. Okay, so the answer is 31.25. 25 add 6 would be 31, and then you put the 0.25 on the end. Okay, you might have done a different method for that one, it's absolutely fine, but you can see there how my method, and just using a couple of known facts, I've divided 25 by 2 enough to have it in the head, means I don't have to spend too long on that one. It's fairly quick to do. Okay, last one. So 4, 5, 6, 7, subtract 1, 6, 3, 9. Nothing here but a straight column subtraction. There's no shortcuts that I can see on that one. I suppose you could round it to 1,640, but be just as quick to do it this way. So 7 subtract 9 you can't do, so you're going to from here. 17 subtract 9 is 8. 8 subtract 8 is 2. Now just remember, when I'm saying this is 5 subtract 3, that's my language. It's to help me with the question. I'm well aware that that's 50 and 30, but saying 50 subtract 30 isn't going to help me get the answer any quicker. 5 subtract 3 is absolutely fine, as long as you remember what value those digits hold. So the same here, 5 subtract 6 I can't do. It's not 5 and 6, it's 500 and 600. Okay. 15 subtract 6. It's 2, yeah, perfect. 2, 9, 2, 8. Okay, 2,928. So there's a little bit of exchanging needed in that question, but it's nothing that you haven't had to do before. Okay, that's all the questions. So what I'll do now is put a challenge question up on the board, on the board, I haven't got a board, on the screen as usual, for you to pause, have a go at yourself. It'll link to the work that you've been doing today through White Rose Hub. I'll put it up on the screen, you have a go, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I would have worked it out and give you the answer, okay? If you're working out it's different to mine, it's not always an issue, as long as you've got the same answer as me, okay? So you've had a look at the question by now, hopefully. I've got it at the top of my screen as usual. Really interesting question, because it's a lot of trial and error. Okay, you're finding the two items that Lexi bought if you know that she spent £39.33. So you're adding different combinations of these two items together. You're finding out which ones add to, what was it, £39.33. It is money that we're using, but it's still, what's the word I'm after? Decimals. It's still decimals that you're using, which is what you've been doing today. So it's just decimals in a different form. So what we're going to do first of all is use a bit of common sense and try and narrow down the potential options that we've got. I haven't worked it out myself, as usual. I'll work it out along with you now. So the first thing that I would do with that is come up with some sensible options to try using column addition on, but I'm not going to column add all of them. It's a waste of my time. So, for example, I know what 15 add 15 is, which sounds really straightforward, but I know 15 add 15 is 30. So if I try and add the soft toy and the motorised car together, the motorised car is a little bit more than 15 and the soft toy is a little bit less than 15. Now, it's not a little bit more and less enough to add to an extra £9. So it's definitely not soft toy and motorised car. So I'm just going to, are there any that, yeah. No. So toy and car is a no. Okay. And I'm going to use that same method and rule out some options, if that makes sense. So then I've got toy and slide. Well, 15 and 25 add to way more than 40. So it's not that. So it's not toy and slide. Notice as well that I'm keeping on the toy, so I'm working systematically. So it's not toy and car. It's not toy and slide. Toy and board game would be too small because you've got 20 add 14. Well, roughly. Again, I'm rounding very heavily all over the place. 20 add 14, which would be about 34. So it's not toy and board game. Toy and game. And toy and doll's house is very similar to the slide. It's too big. So toy and house. So there's nothing there that I've actually needed to try and add together. Nothing at all. They've all come out too big. Okay, I think. Am I right with that? Toy and slide might be worth a look actually. Yeah, toy and slide. I've put it here, but I'm actually going to add that just to check. Toy and slide. Okay, so that's the first one that I'm going to try out in a second. So then I'm going to use the same system. I need to check toy and slide, but then I'm going to go to motorised car. Motorised car and toy I've already checked, I don't need. Motorised car and slide is worth a check. That's close enough. Car and slide. Car and board game is no, too small. And car and doll's house is too small because 25 add 15 would be 40. Okay, so I'm going to check these two now, just to see if I've already got the answer sat there to save myself working any more out, if that makes sense. So what I've done, just to, in case my explanation wasn't clear enough there, is I've worked through and I've looked for the things that I think roughly add to about £40. If they roughly add to 40, then I need to work them out, don't I? The only exception to that was the car and doll's house, because 15 add 25 is 40, plus I've got 92p and 18p to add on to it, so it's definitely more. I'm looking for the things that could roughly be about 40, bearing in mind £39.33 is only 70p away from that. Okay, so these are the two that have come up initially, so now I'm going to change colour so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to have to column add them. Okay, so I'll column add and I'll see if either of them add to £39.33. If they do, I'm done. If they don't, then I need to keep going with my method. Okay, so what am I adding? Toy and slide. So toy is 14.87, slide is 23.41. 14.87 add toy and slide, £23.41. Notice as well as I'm going through how much I'm talking, and it sounds silly, but talking to myself to make sure that I'm confident on what I'm doing. The amount of times there I was trying to put toy and car together just because I've lost the question. So really referring back to all of my working out, making sure that I understand what's on my paper will help. So 7 add 1 is 8. 8 and 4 is 12. 8. No, I'm not carrying anything, am I? So £38.28. So that's only about £1 away, so it's definitely worth a check. but obviously it is not the answer, so it's no use to me now. So car and slide, let's check that one. So you've got £15.92, £15.92, and £23.41. Okay, 3, that's looking good. 13, carry, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's looking good. And I've got no carry, made the mistake again. Yeah, there you go. So that's the answer, isn't it? Car and slide is the answer. So I ran it through first, a bit of rounding estimation, and it was fairly close to £39.33. It's about £40. So I've put it aside. Then I've column added to check, and it's definitely correct. Okay, so the answer is car and slide. All right, well done if you got that one. I will see you tomorrow.